We're going to look at examples of difference of two squares, or I call it dots for short. So our pattern when we have a difference of two squares is to say that we have perfect squares that are being subtracted, and they can be broken up into two binomials. One needs to be positive and one needs to be negative. And then you take the square root of that first term, so the square root of a squared is just a. So you put that first. And then the square root of b squared, so that was a, this would just be b, that's our second term. And that is the pattern. It's just a one-step pattern. So let's look at example 1. So x squared minus 49, we just want to break it up into two binomials, make one positive in the middle and one negative in the middle. And then you want to think of the square root of x squared would equal x. That needs to go in that first spot of each binomial. I am going to grab a different color to help that stand out. So think of x squared, I'm just going to do it again. Take the square root of x squared, you get x. That needs to go in the first spot of each binomial. Then take the square root of that second term, so 49, just ignore the negative because you've already taken care of your signs. The square root of 49 is 7, so we need to put 7 in the second spot of each binomial, and that's it. Just one step. Let's look at example 2. So think of the same concept. We're going to take that we're given 16x squared minus 1. They are all perfect squares. 16 has a perfect square root, x squared has a perfect square root, and the 1 has a perfect square root. So we can just put a binomial and another binomial, make one positive and one negative. And then the square root of 16x squared would be 4x. So that goes in the first spot of each binomial. And then the square root of 1 would just equal 1. So that goes in the second spot. And that's it. Let's do another one. So if we have x squared minus 1, we just want to put two binomials. One's positive, one's negative. And then take the square root of your first term you're given. Square root of x squared would just be x. Put that in the first spot of each binomial. And then the square root of 1, which was our second term we were given, is just 1. So that's your second term. And that's it. And let's do one more example. On number 4, we're given 2x squared minus 200. So if we try to take the square root of 2, that doesn't come out evenly. So we need to look and see if there's anything else we could do first to help us break this down. So 2x squared minus 200 both divide evenly by 2. So first let's take that out as our greatest common factor. So 2 times x squared minus 100 now, that is a difference of two squares. So let's break it down. So we have the 2 out front, and then we have two binomials, one positive, one negative, and now we can take the square root of x squared, which is just x, and put it in the first spot. And then the square root of 100 will just give you 10. And that's it. We have 2 times x plus 10, x minus 10.